Today, we're going to list the top 10 celebrity scandals you may not have heard of. We'll be looking at the most famous events involving famous people that, for some reason, most people haven't heard about for this list. What small incident involving a famous person did we miss? Tell us in the comments after finishing the video. Number 10. Chuck Berry's voyeurism. Chuck Berry, who passed away recently, was a well-known singer, songwriter, and guitarist who left an indelible mark on the world of rock and R&B music. As the 1980s came to a close, Berry began to diversify his business, most notably by purchasing the Southern Air restaurant in Wentzville, Missouri. Berry installed video cameras in private parts of his restaurant, which were subsequently discovered by one of the cooks. The employees and guests at the restaurant were unaware of the secret cameras that Berry had hidden. In the year 1990, over 200 women joined together to bring a class action lawsuit against Berry, alleging that she violated their right to privacy. Berry chose to settle his claims and paid out more than $1.2 million, despite the fact that he acknowledged that he had done nothing wrong. Number 9. Bruno Mars' arrest. During the time that Bruno Mars was beginning to establish himself as a solo pop star, he was involved in a few incidents with the law enforcement. Within a short amount of time, he was taken into custody at the Hard Rock Casino after being discovered to be in possession of illegal narcotics as he was enjoying a night out in Las Vegas. He ultimately entered a guilty plea in the courtroom. In order to make amends, the singer, known for his hit song, Uptown Funk, participated in a schooling program, paid a few $1,000s, and performed community service for a number of hours. As a consequence of this, his record was removed, and the narrative has, for the most part, remained unknown up until the present day. Mars was fortunate enough to learn a valuable lesson from the episode, which was that mistakes such as this could result in all of his hard work being washed away. Number 8. David Letterman's Secret Affairs. The late-night talk shows that David Letterman has hosted for such a long time have helped him become one of the most well-liked people in the United States. However, the well-known broadcaster was embroiled in a scandal in 2009 when Joe Haldeman, one of the producers of 48 Hours, sought to blackmail him into paying him millions of dollars. Haldeman threatened to expose the affairs that Letterman had been having with several of the female employees that worked for him. Letterman has been romantically involved with some of the employees. After getting ahead of him, Letterman arranged for a sting operation to be carried out with the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, which ultimately led to the arrest of Haldeman. In a particular episode of The Late Show, the host himself disclosed all of this information to the whole public. Number 7. Lana Turner and the Johnny Stoppanato scandal. Lana Turner's romantic life was the subject of a great deal of interest and discussion due to the fact that she was one of the most glamorous leading ladies in Hollywood. Towards the end of the 1950s, Turner began a romantic relationship with Johnny Stoppanato, a notoriously possessive and brutal gangster. On the 4th of April in 1958, the two had gotten into a heated argument while Cheryl Crane, Turner's daughter, was at home. Crane, who was worried about the well-being of her mother, inflicted lethal wounds on Stoppanato. A large number of media crowded into the courtroom during the proceedings since the killing, and the subsequent trial became the topic of conversation in the community. Despite the fact that Turner and Crane were cleared of any wrongdoing, the suspicions continued to circulate throughout Tinseltown. In spite of this, this tale has been largely forgotten since it was told. Number 6. Charlie Chaplin's marriages. It is impossible to discuss the silent age of film without mentioning Charlie Chaplin and the body of work he produced during that time. By adopting the persona of a tramp, he was able to win the affection of millions of people all over the world. The fact that Chaplin displayed a frightening affinity for far younger ladies is something that many people may not be aware of, despite the fact that he was known for his on-screen antics. Even though he was well into his adult years, he had 3 marriages with minors. This is despite the fact that he was well into his adult years. During that historical period, these tales caused quite a stir. Nevertheless, in spite of the illegal conduct, Chaplin's reputation and legacy do not appear to have been brought into disrepute to a significant degree. Number 5. Manny Pacquiao's harmful remarks. When the world-famous boxer Manny Pacquiao made the decision in 2015 to run for a Senate seat in the Philippines, he temporarily hung up his gloves. The Philippines is the country in which he was born and raised. While he was running for office the next year, he made derogatory comments regarding the LGBTQ+ community in a setting that was shown on television. Following the broadcast of the episode, Pacquiao was subjected to a barrage of criticism, with a number of prominent figures in the community urging everyone to abstain from supporting the well-known boxer. He was also fired from his endorsement relationship with Nike, in addition to the reaction he received online. Although Pacquiao finally expressed regret for his words, he did not seem to shift his position in any significant way. All the same, he was elected. Number 4. Mae West's salacious plays. Throughout the entirety of her illustrious career, Mae West was recognized for her ability to use her craft to advocate for sexual emancipation. Because she was seen to be somewhat courageous for the time period in which she lived, she was not unfamiliar with controversy. Earlier in her career, West had already established herself as a playwright and stage performer, before she began to attract enormous crowds at the box office with her passionate films. Using the alias Jane Mast, she wrote a play that was considered to be quite controversial and was performed on Broadway in the year 1926. It was determined that the concert was too offensive for the general public to watch, which resulted in West being arrested and serving 10 days in jail. Another one of her works, The Drag, which was about a lesbian socialite who kept her sexual orientation a secret, suffered from the same kind of controversy and was not even produced on Broadway. Number 3. David O. Russell's assault allegations. In the time that passed between the critically acclaimed films The Fighter and Silver Linings Playbook, David O. Russell became involved in a major scandal that, for some reason, escaped the attention of the public. A claim was made that the Hollywood filmmaker had physically abused his niece Nicole Poliquin, who was in a state of anger at the time. The allegations made by Poliquin state that Russell had been aiding her during a workout session at the gym when he engaged in touching her without her consent. In spite of the fact that he admitted to the event, Russell maintained his innocence by asserting that Poliquin was the one who intentionally invited the interaction. Ultimately, the director was not charged with any wrongdoing since there was insufficient evidence to support the allegations, and as a result, the issue was never even brought before a court of law. Number 2. Matthew Broderick's costly accident. During the summer of 1987, Hollywood actor Matthew Broderick was on holiday in Northern Ireland with his girlfriend at the time, actress Jennifer Grey. These two were in Northern Ireland. On the set of Ferris Bueller's Day Off, the two had a chance encounter that led to the beginning of a relationship that they had mainly concealed from the public throughout their time together. In the middle of the night, Broderick was driving and veered off into the wrong lane, which resulted in his colliding immediately with another vehicle. Despite suffering major injuries, Broderick and Grey were able to escape the accident. However, the occupants in the other vehicle, a mother and daughter combination named Anna Gallagher and Margaret Doherty, were unable to live. A charge of careless driving was dropped against Broderick, and he was sentenced to pay a modest fine. The relatives of those who were killed described this decision as a travesty of justice. Broderick was given a lesser sentence. Number 1. Ben Affleck's family history. The documentary series Finding Your Roots on the Public Broadcasting Service, PBS, features a variety of famous people in each episode, and it follows their family histories. When Ben Affleck made an appearance on the show in 2014, he learned, along with everyone else who was watching, about some of his family, including his mother, who was an activist for civil rights organizations. Genealogists working behind the scenes of the program, on the other hand, had uncovered the fact that one of Affleck's ancestors was a slave owner in Georgia. Because Affleck was embarrassed by the revelation and did not want the information to be made public, he exerted pressure on the producers of the show to remove that particular piece from the presentation. It all became public knowledge with the hacking scandal that occurred at Sony Pictures in 2015, when the narrative was disclosed to the general public. If you want to see more of us, then do subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.